Now, before we get into it, this is a 97 Honda Civic EX, I believe. It does have the manual, not that it matters, but we have a ball joint on this thing that is bad, and I want to show you how to properly check your ball joint. The place that had checked it out before claimed that it needed a control arm, but I'm going to show you why that is not the case. So, you can see the ball joint here. This is the control arm. The ball joint bolts through the control arm. The ball joint is right here, and this is the steering control arm, or steering knuckle. Now, the ball joint is actually pressed into the steering knuckle. So, them saying it needed a control arm is totally incorrect. It actually needs just a ball joint, which needs to be pressed out. So, we're going to show you quickly and easily how to do that today. First thing we need to do is verify that it's bad. Now, if you grab the steering and you try and go this way, sometimes you can see it. So go in this direction, sometimes you can see it, other times you cannot. This one is very loose, so I believe, yeah, it's doing it. You can see it. But a lot of times you won't be able to see it that way. And what you have to do is you have to find out where the steering linkage is. If the steering linkage is on this side, you want to go to this side. If the steering linkage is on this side of the vehicle, you want to go to this side of the vehicle. This particular one is on the top, so it's on this side over here. So we're going to grab right here, and we're going to pull and push. Now you can see it moving like that. So that's what we're going to fix today. I'm going to get my impact gun, pull it apart, and we're going to go ahead and throw a new ball joint in there. So one of the first things we have to do is take this large nut off of here, and then we have to take this brake line and make sure that it's free so we don't get that stuck or pulled on too hard and aggressive to where it causes a failure in the brake line. So here's the line right here, and in order to do that there's you can't see it, but there's a bolt behind here for a bracket that comes around like this, and that bracket is bolted to this bracket right here. So we're going to go ahead and take that bolt off. Take this large nut off. Now it's not free, so I'm going to go ahead and grab a hammer and give that a little hit. If it doesn't come out easily, you can use an air hammer on here, and it works very, very well. If you do not have an air hammer, you're going to want to put some brass hammer or something between this hammer and that if you're having to hit it too hard, because otherwise you're going to mushroom out the steel on here. Always be sure to wear eye and ear protection. Okay, I don't want to go too far because I don't want to push the axle in past the point of where it's starting to bottom out. So I'm going to go ahead and take the nut off of the ball joint now. That way I can lower the control arm and then pull this back and then try and push this through the rest of the way. This control arm is held on by a little clip here. You can take a pliers, just kind of give it a twist. You see how this is popping out? Then you can pull that through. It's kind of like a little reusable clip. You can use a chain for this as well, but this is actually the special tool for doing this kind of thing. The ball joint is shot, so you could also use what's called a pickle fork that spreads between here, but I'm just going to go ahead and pry down on this and then give this a hit. Now that I have this loose, I'm going to go ahead and try and get this axle out, and I'm going to need the air hammer again because this thing is really stuck in here. You can see how loose this thing is. Pretty darn sloppy. So now we need a ball joint press in order to take this thing off of here. Okay, here's a ball joint press kit. We have this, normally sitting in there. Now this is OTC's master kit. They have where you can get just this, and it comes with basically this and these two pieces here, and that's the basic kit. And then the master kit comes with all the rest of the stuff. They also have a kit where you buy it, so you buy the basic kit, and then you can buy the adapter set as well that comes with this stuff. But I just got the master kit because I know I needed it all. So what we're going to do is we're going to find the proper adapters to fit that. I'll throw a link in the description below for the same, and it'll bring you to one of these kits and you can purchase it for yourself. Now the best way to find the proper size tool in order to take this thing apart is to grab your brand new ball joint and use it for sizing. Now you can see the larger size is right here, so what we need to do is find one that can cup over top of that but very close, and then we need to press it this direction, so we need to be able to push it like that out of the housing, so it'll go this direction. That's to get it out. Looks like this will probably be my combination, assuming that I can get that in there. Yeah, I'm pretty sure that's going to be my combination right there. So let's go ahead and press this thing out. Alright, so you can see what I did here. I have a strap pulling this back, that way I can keep it clear of the axle. Now I have plenty of room right here for putting the tool. Okay, now that we have the old one out, sitting right here, now you can see I damaged this, but who cares because the thing's junk, so we're not worried about that. We got to get the new one in. So in order to get the new one in, we have to change our sizes. This will not work anymore because now our goal is to push this back into the arm. So now we need something to fit this. But we do not want to take something that's too small and try and push in the center there. We want to make sure that it's going to push on the heavier part of the material on this thing. This one looks like it'll actually work pretty good. I'm still going to look to see if there's anything else in here. Sometimes you might have to use a tool kind of a goofy backwards kind of way. This one would probably work pretty decent, except for that it's so big, I think it'll end up hitting the knuckle. So I'm pretty sure this is what I'm going to end up using. That's the best option here. So yeah, we'll go ahead and use that. And then we need something that fits around this diameter, just like when we did the removal. There we go. Yeah, looks like we got plenty of room, so let's go ahead and give that combination a try. Oh, you know what? The tool actually fits that perfectly, so I'm not even going to put that little piece on there. Now when I pulled that off, did you see this little green thing come off of there? That's a little plug for the hole in the center. That hole in the center is for a grease zerk. It's going to be included in a little package. Well, this is incredibly cool. So I opened the little package. It comes with a little baggie full of the parts that you need to put this ball joint in. And this thing, you're not going to believe this. I've never seen this before. This is the first time I've had a ball joint come like this, but this is very, very cool that they did this. See what it says right there? It's pretty neat. So they actually included a installation adapter. If I would have known that, I would have obviously used it. I would have just threw it on there just because it's going to help a little bit. But now I have one for my kit, I guess. So with the pieces, now you remember I pulled one of these off, so it comes with a new one of these. These are actually nice to keep. This one comes with two different versions. I'm not sure which one I'll use, but I'll probably use this style because then I have one of each. I'll keep the old one and then I'll have this one as a just in case I need one for something. Here's the grease zerk that it comes with, and then of course the nut that holds it on. But this one comes with a clip. Now most ball joints have a clip you have to remove before you press the ball joint out. This one did not, so keep that in mind when you're pulling ball joints. We're going to go ahead and throw this clip on. It should be pretty easy, so let's go ahead and finish this job up. Let's go find the tools that we need to do this. Now, the zerk is just starting to get tight, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to turn it until it's accessible, either front or rear. Now this one, there's a caliper right here, so I'm going to make it accessible from the front. Now, what we have to hope is that this doesn't come too close to that axle. It sure looks like it will. If that's the case, I guess I'll have to grease it, take it out, and then put the little green plug back in there. Yep, I can feel the grease in there, so I know I have plenty to start filling the bellows. As soon as I put it on the control arm, it'll probably try and ooze a little bit out. go ahead and align things up, get them all back into place. But before I do so, I'm going to throw some spray anti-seize. You can just use the brush on stuff, whatever, right where these splines are, because they were seized in there so darn tight. Well, my assumption was correct. See how the grease zerk is going to hit this as soon as I push it in? So this grease zerk is way too tall. They should have thought that through when they did it. Spent a little less time including a ball joint press tool and a little more time making sure it's going to actually fit the grease zerk. But we can take that out and it will be fine because I have greased it, and most grease lasts the lifetime of the vehicle anyway. Now, given the particular nature of this grease plug thing, I'm not too fond of putting it in there. It doesn't have anything to hold it in place. So I think what I'm going to do is just put a little booger of RTV. The metal surface is so clean it will stick. Just put a little booger of RTV. Now, I wish I had one of those grease zerk kits, because if I were to put a standard grease zerk in there, you know what, maybe this one I can use. It would probably sit low enough, because this thing is really tall. You know, if I use just this, it's only going to stick up half the height. And I might be able to get that in there, and it'll plug it. And in fact, there's a tool that can get at those style of grease zerks from the side. And it actually works really well, but I think that's what I'm going to do, is end up putting this zerk back in. Alright, so they are the same size, so I'm going to go ahead and thread this in. Now that one on this one, 8mm or 5/16 will work. So I'm going to go ahead and throw that in there, and that should have enough clearance then. Okay, so this one looks like it might actually clear, and once it gets past this toner ring, it will be perfectly fine. So I'm going to go ahead and start getting this axle back in the housing. Okay, so you can see there is way more than enough clearance on there now. So there you have it. That one's good to go now. And in fact, there's actually enough clearance for that special grease zerk fitting to get in there if a person really wants to grease it that badly. Well, now I see why they included that other clip. The little hole here is sitting below the castle nut, so I had to use the other style clip on this one. Alright, the final and last step, aside from putting the wheel on the car, is to make sure you torque this axle nut. Now, when I put it on with the impact gun, which you're technically not supposed to do, but pretty much everyone does it. Now, I just ran it in until the axle bottomed out, and then I back it off a little bit, and then go until the nut just contacts the surface of the bearing hub. And then I look up on SKF bearings. I type in SKF torque specs, and there's a PDF in Google. Just search it in Google or wherever. There's a PDF from SKF bearing, and they give you torque specs for pretty much every year, make, model. It's a super handy website / PDF that you can load in order to get your specs from. So I'm going to go ahead and torque this thing down. I want you to look up the torque for your vehicle on your own. That's why I gave you that information. And with the torquing of this thing down, I hope you like this quick fix video. Like, share, subscribe, and as always, I hope to see you on another video. Thanks for watching.